Okay, so here's some organic chemistry questions that we will be solving, and basically these are the MCQs as you can see. So let's look at the first question. Okay, the first question says, and let me also just pick, yeah, right. So the first question says which statement about alkanes is correct. Now alkanes, is carbon and hydrogen, or carbon single bond, right? So let's look at the first option. Ethane reacts with chlorine in an addition reaction. Now addition reactions are basically something that happens in alkenes, not alkanes. Alkenes undergo substitution reaction, so this is not correct. Point B says propane has a higher boiling point than butane. Now propane is a 3 carbon molecule, 3 carbon, and butane is a 4 carbon molecule. And if you remember the homologous series part, we discussed that as we go down the series, the melting points and the boiling points increase. So in here, propane cannot have a higher boiling point than butane. Butane has got to have a higher boiling and higher melting point. Why? Because it is a larger molecule. So this is also not correct. Let's look at part C. The molecules of the alkane that contains 99 carbons atom has 200 hydrogen atoms. Now it says the molecules of alkanes. Now once you look at that, you should know that the general formula for alkane is CnH2n plus 2, and here it says that it has 99 carbon atoms. So I'll just place 99 here and here. So 99 and H2 99 plus 2, and C99, which is H2, this is 198 plus 2 is 200, so H 200. So this is indeed the correct answer. Why? Because here you can see the count comes to how many hydrogens? 200 hydrogen atoms. So this is your correct answer. Okay, let's look at MCQ number 2. Which is a correct definition of isomers? That's pretty easy. Atoms with the same relative atomic mass and different structure. So basically what isomers are compounds with the same molecular formula but different structures or different structural formula. So the correct answer for this one is, you can say, the compounds with the same molecular formula and different structure. Yes, this is your answer. Okay, let's look at question number 3. Let's look at question number 3. Yeah. Now, which statement about properties of propane and hexane is correct? Now, this is propane. Propane again is a 3 carbon atom, and hexane is, I think it is 6. Yeah, hexane is a 6 carbon atom. Okay, propane has a higher boiling point than hexane. No. Why? Again, the same logic. Propane cannot have a higher boiling point than hexane, so this is not correct. Why? Because hexane is a larger molecule. A larger molecule is going to have a higher melting and higher boiling point. Alright, propane has a higher relative molecular mass than hexane. Now, to calculate molecular mass, I need to know the whole formula for propane. So here, if I have 3 carbons, and if I again put the same general formula, so C3H23 plus 2. So C3H2 is 6 plus 2 is 8. So this is the molecular formula for propane. In the same way, we'll calculate it for hexane as well. So hexane is 6 carbon, right? So this is C6H2 6 plus 2. So this is C6 12 plus 2 is 14. So C6H14. So propane is C3H8 and hexane is C6H14. So what does it say? Propane has a higher relative molecular mass? No. See, the molecular mass here is higher. I actually calculated the general formula. I'll do this again. The molecular mass means, so to calculate molecular mass, I needed to know how many atoms of carbon and how many atoms of hydrogen are there. Now because I know it, I can just use the molecular formula to take out the molecular mass. How can I do that? So carbon has 12. Molecular mass of carbon is 12. For hydrogen it is 1. So I've got 12, and since I've got 3 carbons, that will be 12 multiplied by 3 plus hydrogen, the mass is 1, and multiplied by 14, multiplied by 8. Where is this? Yep, multiplied by 8 because there are 8 hydrogens. So this comes as 12, 24, 36. 36 plus 8 is 44. The same way, let's look at for this one. So 12 multiplied by 6 because 12 and 6 carbons plus 1 multiplied by 14. So this is 12 multiplied by this is 72 plus 14, that is 86. So again, this is larger than this. So this option is also incorrect because the relative molecular mass for hexane is higher than propane. Okay, let's look at the third one. Propane has more isomers than hexane. Now, if you know what isomers are, you would know that a propane, which is actually again a 3-carbon molecule, like this, okay, this cannot have an isomer. Why? Because to make isomer, what is the definition of isomer? Isomer means the same molecular formula but different structures. Okay, the structure needs to be different. So I cannot rotate this 3-carbon chain in any way possible. So the only thing that I can do is place this carbon like this. This is again a same chain. For that I need to break the chain. Okay, or not. If not break the chain, any molecule needs to be attached and the figure, or you can say the structure, needs to look different. I cannot do that with propane. So propane has actually no isomer. So this is also not correct. So ultimately the answer is D, which is propane is more flammable than hexane. Okay, that's the idea. And again, here the reason behind this is that why propane is more flammable than hexane, because hexane is a higher molecule. We just discussed that, right? Sorry, is a heavier molecule. Propane is not a heavier molecule. And so and another reason, so basically there are two things here: volatility and flammability. So volatility means that if I keep any liquid outside, what is the tendency that it evaporates? Now propane has a very high volatility. That means, I'm just confusing the word, but whatever. Propane will evaporate faster than hexane. If I talk about flammability, now propane exists as gas at room temperature, while hexane exists as liquid. So liquid cannot be flammable. Gas is flammable. When it reacts with oxygen, what happens? Of course, it reacts, it gives out something of a fire or whatever. So that is how it is more flammable. Okay, let's look at question number 4. Question number 4 says methane is the first member alkane series of hydrocarbons. Okay, the second member is ethane. So the first member is CH4, second member is C2H6, which is ethane. Okay, this is methane, this is ethane. Which statement about ethane are correct? So which statement about ethane is correct? Ethane has the formula C2H4, that is not correct. Ethane does not have the formula C2H4, it has the formula C2H6. Ethane has a higher boiling point than that of methane. Yes, that is true. Why? Because as we go down the series, the boiling point and the melting point increase. So 2 is correct. Ethane has the same molecular formula as methane. That is also not correct, because this is the molecular formula for methane and this is the molecular formula for ethane. And if I were to write it, I think that's fine. Ethane has the same chemical properties very similar to those of methane. That is also correct. Why? Because if you remember the homologous series, what we say in homologous series is that the chemical properties in an individual homologous series like alkane, alkenes, they always remain similar. So the way CH4 methane reacts, the same way ethane is also going to react, the same way in a similar manner basically. Methane is also going to react, ethane is also going to react, propane is also going to react, butane is also going to react. So that is your part 4 and the answer is C.